Hello, BookTube, and welcome to my Blu-ray library tour. And we're finishing up with the BFI Blu-rays and some DVDs. And it's not a full collection. There are many, many more BFI films that I want to get, but they're going to be few and far between from now on. And be selective, but unless, occasionally stuff drops to, really cheap prices, so I'll keep an eye out for them. We'll start off with some DVDs. Some TV ones. It's Ghost Stories for Christmas. It's the M.R. James Ghost Stories. This was a nice gift to me. And it's 6 discs in DVD with a booklet. 6, I think, yeah. It's 6 discs with a big booklet, and they were all done for Christmas over the years, right up to the 80s, I believe, yes. And I have not seen most of these, but I love M.R. James's stories, so every couple years, not last year, but in 2020, I reread every 2 years M.R. James's ghost stories. It works out perfectly for October because I could read basically one a day. And what I'll do is this October, I will watch those as well. So that'll be fun. Here's something that's nice. Also, again, a gift with that one. It's called Out of the Unknown. It's 7 DVD set. It's an early or 70s? Yeah, 65 to 71 science fiction TV show on the BBC. And most of them are not available anymore. They did some Asimov stories as well. I'm not sure if any of those are available. They also did a Clifford Simak, or a couple of Clifford Simaks, and there's only sort of some reconstruction bits of them. I've yet to actually watch this, but it was a very nice gift, both of these, because I had wanted these for quite a while, and they were just sort of kind of pricey. But when they did get down cheap, a friend of mine said that they would buy them for me. So I was very pleased at that. So I didn't say no. Let's put it that way. Now we're going into the Blu-ray films. Another science fiction film from the 60s? Yeah, 61. But to me, up to about 62, 63, that could be classed or lumped together with sort of 1950s science fiction, because they had similar sensibility. And then after that, they started going a little strange, and then into the 70s, the B ones, not really great ones. But this one, it's so long since I've seen it, but it's The Day the Earth Caught Fire. It's a film directed by Val Guest. I can't remember who's in it, and I can't see here, and I don't know if it's anybody, any big names that were in it. But Val Guest did. He says this is the definitive version of Val Guest's classic British science fiction thriller. And he also did the Quatermass Experiment, which are fabulous, the TV series as well as the Hammer films. And Dickie Attenborough, Roy Bolting film, did a lot of stuff, and they're very quintessential, 40s, late 40s, 50s films. This is 1948, I think. And it's about a working class schoolboy, Richard Attenborough, and I really like these. And that's where BFI excels. They're putting a lot of really sort of forgotten in many ways 1940s and 50s or British films in general. and they are just marvelous to watch. They have a uniqueness all their own. They're very British, I would say. And here's one which I'm not sure if I've actually seen this or not. I can't remember, but it's I Start Counting. David Green, but it's got Jenny Agutter, who I thoroughly enjoy. I like Jenny Agutter. And this is from their Flipside Presents. They have a whole series called Flipside. It's sort of they still have booklets in, as far as I know, all of them. But they are sort of lesser known, I guess you would say, films. This is 60s, so from the 50s, mostly 60s, I think, and 70s. But I would love to have the whole series of them. I don't know how many they got, but it would be something that would be nice to have to watch, and with the extras as well. This is The Good Die Young. Lewis Gilbert, Lawrence Harvey, Stanley Baker, Joan Collins, Robert Morley, and Gloria Graham. Stanley Baker was in one of my favorite sort of war films, is Zulu, with Michael Caine. And this was done, it's just, they've got a green background and very small print in black, and it's very hard to see in low light, or at least I have difficulty. But I think it might be 53. But it's The Good Die Young. And again, I don't think I've seen this one, but it looked interesting. It says, amoral aristocrat Miles Ravenscott, court, Lawrence Harvey, he was in Room at the Top, plans a daring robbery to settle his gambling debts in this tough thriller played out on the shadowy streets of post-war London. And that sounded quite interesting. It reminded me of League of Gentlemen in some ways, but maybe not as sort of classy or as Jack Hawkins could have brought to it. A fabulous film, Spencer Tracy and many, many other good actors. Judgment at Nuremberg. It's got Burt Lancaster, Richard Widmark, Marlene Dietrich, Maxim Schell, Judy Garland, Montgomery Clift, and it just literally goes on. There's even William Shatner that's in here. But sadly, no booklet with that. This is the original French film, The Wages of Fear. Yves Montand, Charles Vanier, and Vera Clouzot. And it's directed by Henri Georges Clouzot. And this is 1953, I believe. Just sort of memory and trying to guess what it says there. It's about taking explosives through mountains, and very, very, very thrilling, and yeah, it's just the way it's made. It's very good. The English version is not very good. It's okay, but it's not near as good as that. And here's one that I'm going to be doing at some point soon with because I'm going to start doing, because we're doing the Future History Project. If you're interested in that, just send me or put a note in the bottom, or if you haven't been following me for that. It's Isaac Asimov's. It's science fiction. So every month for my book to film, I'm doing one at the beginning of the month, a science fiction film, and this will be one of them. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. Directed by Don Siegel. Here's a kind of wonderful film. I've mentioned Kevin Braunlau before several times. And he made this film when he was sort of started as a teenager, and with Andrew Mallow. And they sort of, scrimped and saved every time they could film stuff. They even got, I believe, film stock from Stanley Kubrick to film it, and it is quite outstanding, even though it got a bad reputation when it went out because people misunderstood what it was showing. It's called It Happened Here, and it's what happened when Nazi Germany took over England, and that's what this is about, and it's fabulous. Yes, it's sort of amateur actors and actresses in it, but even so, it is powerful. It's a powerful film. Especially there's a scene where Kevin Bronlow turned the camera on with some real fascists. At the time, they were sort of Mosley was still around at the time, and he was still having rallies occasionally, more low key than he was during the war and before. But he turned the film on these fascists, and he just filmed them talking. And they sort of convict themselves. They hang themselves out of their own words, the absurdity of stuff that they're saying. And that's where he got, there was controversy of it saying that it's a fascist film and all this. And it's like, no, it's not. And another one that's good, also by Kevin Bronlow and Andrew Molo. Again, an amateur sort of actors, not professional actors and no big budget or anything like that. It's Winstanley. And it's literally about, well, I'll just read it here. It says, in 1649, with poverty and unrest sweeping England, a group of impoverished men and women from a settlement form a settlement to cultivate and share the wealth of the common land, but are met with crushing hostility from local landowners and government troops. With Winstanley filmmakers Bronlow and Molo, the creators of It Happened Here, have produced a powerful and moving story of one extraordinary man's vision. And there's a quote by Christopher Hill, the historian. Very good history. But it's again good. It's 1975. There's a strange story. I think I've got the original. I don't have it here anymore because I actually got, I think, Kevin Bronlow to sign it. It was the DVD because he loaned out the negative, I believe, somewhere. I think the story is. And for doing something. And they tossed it in the bin, in the garbage bin. And it was lost. The negative was lost, I think. I think that story, that he told me that at a film festival that I was at, and I'm pretty sure it was never retrieved. It's just too bad. And a fabulous film from a fabulous book, and I've done this book to film. I don't need to say much about it. You just go look at my video, sort of a sprawling, and I barely even capture everything. Is The Innocents, film by Jack Clayton. I mentioned that one actor was from The Room at the Top, and that was sort of a big film for Jack Clayton earlier, and heralded as, the beginning of the new wave cinema in England. This is fabulous. It's got video introduction and commentary by Christopher Frayling. It's just a fabulous film. Deborah Carr is in it, and Michael Redgrave at the beginning. This one I don't know, but it's another flip side one, and it was again cheap, so I thought I'd take a gamble because I thought I'd expand for newer stuff. And this is The Orchard and Murder, a film by Christian Marnham, and that's 1981. So it's very late for me, but it looks interesting, so I'm willing to give it a try. And as I say, it was under a $5 for with shipping. So I thought, yes, I will do that. Now we go to, I mentioned sort of new wave stuff and 60s. Here is a wonderful box set. It's Woodfall, A Revolution in British Cinema. It's a box set It's got slim case. I wish they would have done the paper digipacks, but there's a whole lot of films in here. There's 2, I think, on every one, or maybe not. There's a lot of films. Let me see if I can get a list here. It's 1960s. Woodfall was production company, and it's got a nice. Okay, yeah, let's go through here. There's only a few more left. Disc 1 has Working Class Heroes, the stories that changed British cinema. But that's a new film. George Devine Memorial Play. 10 Bob in Winter. A lot of these I've not seen. 1960s films. Oh Dreamland, 1953. Well, 50s as well. And there's some silence bits in here as well, which is really nice. The extras are amazing. And then let's see here. Disc 3, Albert Finney interview. We Are the Lambeth Boys, 1959. Disc 4, Taste of Honey. Holiday. Mama Don't Allow, 1956. They're mostly actually extras they're showing here. Let's look at the films, because it's chock-a-block full of stuff. Let's see here. The Knack and How to Get It. Some have it, some don't. That's Rita Tushingham, and that's 1965. Girl with Green Eyes, Peter Finch and Rita Tushingham. This is 1964. Tom Jones, a romp. I've seen that. 1963. The Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner, a Tony Richardson film. 1962. Taste of Honey, Rita Tushingham again. 1961. And sort of a breakout film, a big film, Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, Albert Finney, and that's 1961. The Entertainer, The Steamy Searing Story Behind the Smile, 1960. And Look Back in Anger, Richard Burton and Claire Bloom. I like both of them, Claire Bloom and Richard Burton. This is 1969. So, and it's just full of extras. That's really nice, and the booklet as well. There's some of those I've seen, like Taste of Honey, Long Distance Runner, Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner, Tom Jones, and I think a couple others, but there's a few that I haven't, which will be nice. Now, this is half done of apparently a 4-box set of Ingmar Bergman films. And let's just take, they are limited. Let's say Volume 1 has To Joy, Prison, Thirst, Eva, Port of Call, Crisis, Music in Darkness, and Torment. And each one, and these are those paper or cardboard digipacks, which I really like. The only problem is if they get damaged, then you can't do much with them, but they're nice even so. Each one has over basically a 100-page book, or just under 100 pages booklet. So when it's done, there'll be 400 pages, just under 400 pages of booklets. and that's volume 1. And volume 2 has Summer Interlude, Waiting Women, Summer with Monica, A Lesson in Love, Smiles Smiles of a Summer Night, The Seventh Seal, which is a really big one, Wild Strawberries, and The Magician. Wild Strawberries has Victor Seastrom in it. I've mentioned him, Swedish director, silent film director, and actor. He went to the U.S., but then he went back, and Ingmar Bergman was a huge influence on Ingmar Bergman. So he put him in, I think, Ingmar Bergman's last, Victor Seastrom's last film, Wild Strawberries. I have yet to see that, and I do want to watch that. So this is a nice way to do it on the Blu-ray. Now, there's supposed to be 2 more. I don't know if it's going to be, if they continue with the number of films that are in each, it's not going to be everything that Ingmar Bergman did. But there was a Criterion set that was a big box set, and a friend of mine in Canada has it, and he says it wasn't complete either. He bought the volume 1 of this because it has a couple films that is not in the Criterion set. So, I think there might be 40-some films that he made, Ingmar Bergman, so 4 is going to only be 30-some if they continue with, I think, 7 in each. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 in that one. Yeah, 8. So if they do four box sets, that will be 32. So they'll be quite short. So, but I don't know when the next one's coming out. These came out last year, and they haven't announced anything else. But if you've seen any of these, or something like this, The Orchard, End Murder, and the other ones I said that I haven't seen, I'd love to hear what people think of them. So do sound out in the comments. And the next video we'll do will be Indicator. That's on this shelf here. How do we do this? I can't do it. Let's put it up here. So we go along here. Yeah, there we go. Along this shelf is Indicator. And then that's sort of some miscellaneous stuff here. And you can see right here is this is Kino. This is Kino stuff. And on this end are all silence. Like half of this shelf or 3/4 of the shelf are silence. And then the rest that are piled up right here over where my thumb is. And then there's Arrow, and then there's some other stuff. This is a nice set, all silence, right here. But we'll get to these. We'll get to these eventually. But yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying this, and it's film is a huge thing for me, and it's sort of film. It's like I was reading Isaac Asimov's biography or autobiography, and he says, fiction led him to nonfiction, and films do that for me too. Films lead me to nonfiction because I want to know more about the actors, the directors, the producers, the studio at times, everything. It just leads me, the production of it, and that's why I love the extras and the booklets and so forth. And for favorite films, I go more, and for directors, I get books and read those. And one is a natural progression for me. I almost don't see any other way of that happening. It's the same as fiction. You read something, like he said, he read The Three Musketeers, and then he got interested in French history, so he read French history because of it. Anyway, that's where I'll end this BFI one, and on to Indicator next time. Take care, BookTube.